How does love actually work? Is it random? Is it something that's based on genetics? Like once you have the genetic compatibility, that sparks the chemicals of love. Is it based on your environment, how you grew up, and the people that you had around? Or is it actually a choice? Like, can you actually choose who you fall in love with? I do believe the four of these are true, and in fact, there might be more of them. But the one that I want to talk about is number four, choice, because I think this is one that not a lot of people are aware of, especially young people. And I want to share a very personal story that I went through that taught me that love is something that can be crafted, and it is not just this magical thing as we've seen in the movies. It is something that you can be with someone that you just like them, and eventually you grow up to love them in a way, right? The relationship grows. And what happened to me is that I was dating this girl that, if I'm being completely honest, I was not so sure about, right? So I was kind of okay in the relationship, but I had a lot of doubts whether I truly wanted to be with her or not. There were a lot of things that were not clicking for me, misalignment of values and some other stuff. But for some reason, I just decided to keep going with the relationship. And we got to a point that we ended up moving in together, right? And the thing is that once we moved in together, I started to take the relationship even more seriously. And now I started to do a lot of things for this girl. I started to help her financially. I started to help her with family issues that she was going through. I also started to help her with her friendships. She was going through some drama with friends, even some health problems that she was having, and also like emotional problems. Like every single thing that she was going through, I started to selflessly take care of her and help her. And honestly, like, it is very important that you pay attention to this. Like, I was selflessly doing it, not expecting anything in return. Like, I just felt like it was more of my responsibility now by the fact that we were living together. So naturally, like, this role kicked in me. And what happened is that just after a month of doing this thing, one day, I don't know, I think she was laying on the sofa or the couch or whatever, and I was doing something, sitting, and I remember I looked at her, and I had this feeling that I would call love, but a kind of love that I had never experienced. The love that I had was very selfless. I just felt like this feeling inside of me of just desiring the absolute best for that person. And it was a feeling that had nothing to do with me. Like, if I was not involved in her life and she was going to be completely okay and happy and all of that, like, that would have made me happy, regardless of how I fall into her equation of life, right? So even if I were to be completely out, like, I just wanted good for her just for the sake of it. And it is a very different feeling, right? From Because at the end of the day, love is a very confusing word. It means a lot of different things for different people, and especially with the romantic context, also the way people experience love can be very different. But that it's very, for example, it's very different to things such as lust, right? Which is not love, but, and it's funny, right? Because yesterday I published that video talking about lust. Lust, in a way, is very selfish, right? Because you want to be involved into that. Like, it has to include you for you to be satisfied with it, right? For sure you care about the other person, but you have to be there too. But this kind of love that I'm describing has nothing to do with me. Like, I just want the best for this person. And this is something that it made me think a lot about something that I had heard many years ago with things such as hobbies and starting businesses, right? I know I'm always giving these kind of examples, but one thing that they say is that when you turn a hobby into a business, that's the moment you start to, it stops being a hobby, basically, because you don't love it anymore, right? The moment you turn something you love into a business, into a money-making machine, that's when you lose the love. That's when you lose the love. That's when you lose the passion. And that's what I heard, like, no, you should do things that you like, right? Just that you're interested in, curious, right? There's no passion, there's no emotional investment into it, there's no volatility. And one thing that I also heard is that you should marry someone you like, not someone you love. Because the second you marry for love, same thing, same philosophy. Once you commit to it, and now we're married and we cannot get away and we have to do this thing in this way and all, right? It might break the magic, right? Love a lot of times relies on this magical thing that we cannot describe. But the thing is that if we keep in mind this philosophy and this thing that I learned, and hopefully you're learning too, which is you can create love, at least as a male, right? This is a male perspective. I don't know exactly how the female brain works within what we're talking about, but as a male, now I know that I can create love. So what I should be aiming for is someone that I like, right? Someone that my values are aligned with, that we are looking for a similar thing in life and all of that. So, you know, like the basic stuff is aligned. And then I can go and work on that love, even though I think this is something that a lot of people would disagree with. And I think it is an amazing testament, my story, because even though it was someone that I was actually not happy with, right? It was, I mean, it's not that I was unhappy with her, but I noticed from early on, like, yeah, there's things that are not clicking for me. I don't quite like it. I know she's not the one. This is not the relationship. This has no long-term future. Short-term, yeah, for sure. But long-term, it's not going to be it. And even with all of that, I could still craft it. I could still build it. And this is something that I've shared with some of my friends that I have who are older than me, in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. And they all agreed with me, right? And they said, like, yeah, this is how actually, like, healthy love, that's what they said. That's how healthy, long-term love, that's how it should function. And sadly, it is something that not a lot of young people know about, you know, people in their 30s, in their 20s, and especially teenagers for sure. Most of them, 99% of them, they don't. But it would be really nice that they knew this. And this is basically why I'm making this video. So that if you're in those age ranges, or maybe older, you know, who cares at the end of the day, that now you know. And now you know about my story and how love can work. Right, as we said, there's many different ways, but this is one that I'm sharing with you today. So anyways, that's it for this video. I just wanted to share this quick thing. I hope you liked it and you got some value out of it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. I love to read comments. Leave me a like as well. And that's it for today. Hopefully I will see you on the next video. Take care. Peace.